When did you realize you were the villain in someone else's story? There was this guy, Bob. He was a really nice guy, super cool. Could have been your lead in a typical teen coming up of age movie. A lot of my friends were friends with him, but me and Bob, we were never friends because Bob hated me. He didn't hate me at first, but it was like a series of unfortunate events that just happened. It started in junior high. We were both on the cross country team. He was good. I was better. I didn't even notice the dude. It wasn't even like I was out to get him, but I was just always that much faster than him. And back then, it was the top 7 racers from each school that got to compete in the big school races. I was number 7, Bob was number 8. Bob and I were the same size. This is important because we were also in the wrestling team. In each weight class, only 2 people got to compete at the meets. There was another guy who was a good, experienced wrestler, and neither of us had a chance against that dude, but that left me and Bob fighting for the second slot. And what do you know, I was a better wrestler than Bob. And it wasn't even that I was that great or anything. I did okay, won a few more than I lost, but I was just better enough that poor Bob never beat me. It wasn't just sports though, and really, I wasn't very good at sports, to be honest. I was a big nerd though, and while most people don't want to be nerds, nerds don't mind being big nerds. In my school, I was known for being the computer guy, and Bob was also good at computers. There was a little computer club, and we tried to write crappy little programs on whatever the basic language was that Apple ran. None of us knew anything like that, but I was always 2 steps ahead of Bob. That thing was Bob and I were very much alike. That's why I liked him. We had very similar interests, we were good at the same things, and he was never mean to me. But he was always distant and just generally seemed like he didn't like me. I might not have ever put it together though, as I never thought about him and me competing with each other until 8th grade winter dance. I had a crush on this girl, I was super awkward, and I asked her to dance me super bad. I asked her, hey, has anyone else asked you yet? And she was like, 1 dude, but she didn't think she wanted to say yes to him. I asked her and she said, yeah, we could dance. It was a junior high school dance. I didn't think much of it. We went to the dance, had a good time, and then dated for like 3 weeks. And as it turns out, Bob was her good friend, and Bob also had a crush on her. Bob was the one who asked her to dance, but she saw him as a friend. She told me that Bob basically hated me and complained about me all the time. She didn't really know who I was until Bob started telling her how awful I was. Poor Bob. Once she said it to me, it made sense. I hate being one-upped constantly by some guy who is just like me, only slightly better at the stuff I was good at. Nobody would want that. So I swoop in, steal his date, and end up dating his crush. I felt bad, bro. I didn't know how to tell him I was sorry. I didn't even know if I was sorry for my actions because I didn't even do anything wrong. I was just sorry that my existence seemed to make his life worse. I tried my best to give him space after that, but obviously easier said than done. Our final interaction came after 8th grade. It was the summer before high school, and my older sister was running some 10K races, and my mom woke me up at 5 in the morning and told me I should go. I didn't train, I wasn't ready, I didn't even know it was a 10K. Our races in junior high were only 1.5 miles, not 6.5 miles. Still, whatever, I agree, I go to the race and I do pretty darn well. It was the furthest I'd ever run and my pace really dropped towards the end, but I did it. I finished and I averaged 7:01. I was really proud. At the end, they had this little award ceremony thing and I was shocked when my name was called. The race had different age groups and I taken first place. In fact, there were only 2 people in the under 14 group, me and Bob, and I had no freaking idea, but there I was taking first place from poor Bob. He finished 15 seconds after me. I swear when he looked at me on the stage, I saw the hate in his eyes. I felt awful. Bob and I went to different high schools, and thankfully I haven't run into him since I stopped. I wrestled in high school, and I always hoped that him and I would face off again and he beat me, and that would be his happy ending. But it never happened. If you're out there, Bob, I'm really sorry, man. I didn't do it on purpose.